Wow, what an incredible day. I do want to talk mostly about BigBear.AI in this video. Also, Soundhound, I'll give an update on that as well. And then also Beam, one of my best penny stocks to buy now. Wait till you see the move that I made. And then I also want to cover just a little bit of crypto, just to shout back to or call back to my morning video that I put out and the movement that we saw and where we could potentially go from here. So guys, stick around. This is a big video for you to see with tons of technicals, and you'll see just exactly how they're playing out and the validity that's to them. And hopefully you come back for more. And by the way, over at the Discord, links in the description, code word doctor, you can find more of my technicals and other experts like me there to support you in your journey towards financial freedom and building alpha in your portfolio. Use code word doctor when you sign up. Use the earner tier so you get unrestricted access. All right, let me put this up here. We're going to go to BigBear.AI, so BBAI first. There we go. And I have the hourly chart up here for you because I really want you to see these lines in here made from previous pivots right around 714 and 715 because we got stuck at them back over here on June the 30th and into July 1st and then sold off a little bit and then rocket ship up above that before not being able to sustain that for too many days, tumbling back down. Well, you can see we tripped around them again on the 9th and then the 10th, and then we tried on the 11th and then sold off. We are pushing back up against that now. It has almost an inverse head and shoulders look. And really the thing that I think that you should be paying attention to here for BigBear.AI is the fact that what we have across the lows here is the pressure from the bulls trying to give the bears to give some ground, and the bears are giving that ground, but however, they are holding a firm line up here on 714 or 715 where these two lines are going across for these pivots. So we want to keep paying attention to those to see what more can come our way. Now, on a daily basis, if we go and look at the candle structure that's there, you can see that we had that dragonfly doji followed by just a wildly indecisive doji candle here with that narrow body. Real high top peak on this thing, a low bottom wick on that one. So selling pressure coming in, and we saw that before. Matter of fact, we saw it back here on the 10th. That was a little bit more symmetry there for that one, but we did find support up above the 5. We closed up above the 5. That's good. This thing, when it does move, it's going to move big right now. Signs are pointing to bullish, as I showed you down on that hourly chart, and what you can see on the daily being up the 5, above the 5, the 13, the 50, and the 200 day on this thing. So lots of very good movements for us, and hopefully we got some to continue, and this thing could be moving pretty wildly for us. I have some other technicals on here that make this thing pretty darn busy, but what I will tell you from what you can see on here is that, let me select this one right here for you because I want to see, there we go, there's my Fibonacci extension. We're going to turn it green so we can pick it out from the rest of them. There we are. This one points to $11 per share for BigBear.AI if we're able to take that rocket ship. And let me take down some of the retracements on this. We'll take down some of the pivots on this. And now you can really start to see the movement that we have. So we got rejected at the 236, and you can see there's still some more resistance. Actually above 741 is where we want to hold. Couldn't do it today, popped up all the way up to 751 and then quickly, and I mean quickly, sold back down, I think even under 7 in the next 5 minutes or so after we peaked out. The 38.2 is up here all the way at 798. So this thing, if we can get up above the 736, 741, if we can get up above there, we should be looking close to $8 again with some momentum reset on this as well. So up today about 0.28%, so pretty much even with yesterday, and putting in some pretty big indecisiveness as to where we go. The next candle on here can indicate direction. So we could find out as soon as tomorrow what that next big move is. And so if we see the candle up here, for example, I'll draw probably the world's best. That one looks almost like a pregnant candle. Well, that'd be the bullish harami candles, or if you will, but that's not, that bump is because I'm not coordinated. There should be a line. Now it just looks like a beer mug or something like that. But if we see the candle up there, and let's see if we can turn it green for you. If we see the candle up here, that could be a very good thing. That could be very bullish for us if that is what we're going to see. And if instead we see a candle down below, down this way tomorrow, and I'll turn that one red for you, that could indicate that our next direction is downward from that, especially if we lose the 5 and the 13 in the process. So tomorrow could be a very important day because the next candle could show the continuation of the direction that we're going to find out. And now, mind you, there is some hope down below because you can think about that as de-risking, especially for everybody who's looking for a position in BigBear.AI, because that means cheaper shares, which means less capital invested, at least on a per share basis. So to the north side of this, I'm still thinking $10 to $15 might be in this run. It might be in this quarter. It might be by the end of 2025, but I do think that we do have a higher run to go. I think that this run's not over yet. We could find out as soon as tomorrow whether or not that's right. Soundhound today had a 4.25, so 4% better than what we had for BigBear.AI. This one 4.25% up. And some things that I see initially when I look at this, just once again going back to the candle structure that we have, look at the long wicks that we're getting off the bottom of these candles. That is some buying pressure coming in just south of that 13 EMA. Today we closed up above the 5 EMA and 13, and this has the 5 above the 13, above the 50, above the 200. That is the bullish setup that we're looking for with the moving averages when you have the fastest over the top the slowest in order like that, 5, 13, 50, 200. That's perfect. RSI is just south of 60, so it's at 58-ish. So that's perfectly bullish for us. If we go out to a weekly basis for Soundhound, we sit at 55.79, and monthly 57.50. So this one, you can see the high wicks, you can see the selling pressure that comes in. We could be setting up for that next big move for Soundhound as well, and that's why I'm covering it in this video along with BigBear.AI. Look at the selling pressure that we got back here on May the 14th. Look at the selling pressure that we got as soon as we popped up on Tuesday, July the 8th, sell, 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 3 straight days of sell, and then a fourth one if you include the next candle that, even though it's green, still closed 1% down from the previous day, but that was a nice little turnaround spot. We bottomed out all the way down at about 1064 before closing today at 1168. So a nice big movement on that one over that time. That low wick, when you see it like that, that's evidence of some selling pressure coming our way. Today's volume was even half decent as well. Let me just check out the hourly chart just to see what it looks like, and I'll put up some of the lines that I have on here for you. So raise, there we go, retracements, extensions, there we are, and make sure that they're unhidden so that we can see them all. And what you can see if I stretch this out, right along this 0.5 is where we're catching that support, and there's a 0.382 just above that we actually managed to close above. Opening above that tomorrow could be very awesome for us, enabling us to get up to that 1226 to 1238. That would be next in line for us that we got rejected on going back over here on Thursday the 10th into Friday the 11th before we sold. So nice to see that bullish movement coming up, and you can see that we tried to get over in the pre-market hours on the 15th, couldn't do it, sold off down to the 0.5. Getting back up to that 38.2, and that's off this most recent run that we've had from trough all the way up to peak before we got that sort of rejection. Well, now we're going from a higher low, and that should make it easier to catch that rocket ride upward from here. I'm still looking for $15 to $16 per share on Soundhound. So we'll see if we're able to produce that once again in this run, much like what we're seeing for BigBear.AI. The overall market bias in the background is definitely something worth paying attention to. So the Q staying bullish, IWM staying bullish, SPY also staying bullish for us. So the NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, the Russell 2000 stocks, Dow Jones Industrial Average, for example. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention crypto in this one, with having some big news today, some approvals for the bills that were previously, there was a big old rejection, then crypto markets, oh, it's not happening, and then it happened, and it's like, oh, it's happening, and that's why I want to talk about it in this video. And guys, you can see more of the technicals over at the Discord, like I mentioned before, including my buys and sells and the other experts' technicals, buys, sells, news, information, there to support you in your journey towards financial freedom and building alpha in your portfolio. And all you got to do is click that link down in the description of this video for the Discord. Use code word doctor when you sign up for the earner tier so you can get access to the entire ecosystem that's there to support you. The Ask the Expert channel is it's one of the best features that's over there, because you could have a nuanced question and ask it and get those answers to your personalized questions and converse with the thousands of members that are already over there and see the expert channels and see the live trading and see the learning library that's over there as well. I'm telling you, it's seemingly endless for the things that are there offered for you, the products and services available. And also through Stockmo Academy, if you want to learn the technicals like you see on here, and if you want to learn how to trade options like I do as well, building alpha in my portfolio is mostly what I use those for. The investing side, the technical analysis can certainly help timing those entries. Although typically for my investments, that's more of a buy and hold with some timing that also happens in there as well to get some excellent positioning. There's some coursework through Stockmo Academy. Code word doctor works when you sign up for those courses as well. All right, guys, let's get to that penny stock. One of my best penny stocks to buy now. Wait until you see it. And then also I want to wrap things up with crypto because I covered it in my morning video and it'd be a nice little mention in this as well. So Beam, B-E-E-M, there we go. Look at this. So we had a nice little move the day before. I talked about this bull flag. I said, hey, this thing's starting to move. It could possibly push up to $2 in the near future. Well, it closed today at 205 after pushing up all the way to a close of $1.89 back on Monday. So that was the day that I called it out over at the Discord. I'm like, watch this one. This thing can get moving on us. And then moving into Tuesday, a little bit of a hesitation. Today, another rocket ship. And it's possible that this is still part of a longer term movement. Now, mind you, we do have this resistance from the previous, this historic resistance, if you will, that happens right around $2. Up above that, this thing can really start moving on us, and I wouldn't be surprised to quickly see this thing testing out its 200-day moving average at 275 for the EMA, and if we put up the SMA on that, that also happens to be right at 275. So pretty nice the way that that worked out. Doesn't always work out that they come out to be the same number, but absolutely for one of my best penny stocks to buy now, BEEM is one of them. All right, so Bitcoin finds itself just south of 120,000, and you guys should recognize this sort of candle from before. High top wick, high bottom wick, narrow body on this thing. Now, mind you, this is an active candle, not a closed candle. So this is one full, this is actually a weekly candle that we're looking at right now, which could be nice. So if we actually close this week by Saturday, that we're still in this narrow range, then once again looking for green candle above to continue, or red candle down below to continue downward, then we're looking for support. I do have a price target on Bitcoin of 150. So that is nice to see that moving the way that it is. And once again, I still have more technicals on here that look pretty messy, but the only part that you need to pay attention to right now is these three bands that are across here. Let's drop down to the daily chart so you can see that price action, because you can see that retested support at 117, which is a 0.5 Fibonacci level. The next one happens to be, which is the 0.786, or I'm sorry, the 0.618, that is up here at 121, and then I can't tell the change on it right now because it's combined with another one, which actually serves as significant resistance, but these three lines are what we need to get over. 120.2, or 120.2 thousand per BTC, all the way up to 122.5 thousand per BTC. Sitting on top of those, that's what we're fighting against right now, and that can certainly keep things pumping for the altcoins. XRP has smashed above resistance perfect. I think this is on its trajectory. It's path towards 340, potentially up to the new all-time high in the near term of 361. A price target on this for me is 463. We'll see if we get it nearer term than that, 383, all within 2025. SUI having a bit of a rough day, but honestly, it was on a rocket ship before then. So now it's finding a little bit of resistance where the rest of crypto, or a lot of crypto, especially the bigger ones that are out there, are having a great time, but they've also been suppressed for longer than SUI has. SUI's already started putting in those gains earlier than things like Solana, which I talked about this resistance at 165.85 and the pivot that we had to get over that was right around 168. Blasted through it. Great volume on this. I said if we get through that, we could be soon looking for that 183 to come out. We have resistance from 183 all the way up to 196. ETH smashing into my price target. Now, mind you, we might get a high top wick off of this, because we have some pretty important resistance from 33.82 down to 33.45-ish. So watch for that. See if we pull back on this during the day for Ethereum. And also, if we close above it, that's great to see it close above it, because then this resistance that we have turns into support instead. And then we could see this thing carry higher from there. And then we have some resistances from about 35 to 3,600, then not again until 37. And then we have major trend line resistance all the way up near $4,000 per ETH. And so we'll see what we get. Right now, I'm just watching this. I want to see support or resistance here, and then we'll plan it out from there. And then AVAX, I think, is going to be the dark horse in this. I think that they're going to come, being that they're lagging so far behind off such a beautiful technical formation, that double bottom that we see. It's like I have two wives instead of just one. So this beautiful bottom that we see here, perfectly rounding up above the 13, above the 5, For the EMAs, just down below the 50, we have some pretty massive resistance right around 27, but this thing could turn into a rocket ship for us. The RSI at 49.8 right now. On the daily chart, we're just barely into overbought territory, but if we get that stronger momentum from longer period charts such as the weekly or even the monthly, which is also starting to curl up on us, AVAX could put in some pretty serious outperformance. So guys, let me know what you think of BBAI. Is it still one of the best stocks to buy now? What about Soundhound? What do you think about Beam? Do you think it has fuel in the tank to make another 35% run from its closing price today at 205 up to 275? Is it going to break the 200? Will it get rejected? And then what about that darn crypto market? Are we just getting started, or is this just the big excitement and then this thing falls flat? Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, you can join us over at the Discord. We'd love to have you over there. The 1,000 members over there already, loving life and all the products and services that are offered to them in their pursuit of financial freedom and building alpha in their portfolios. So what are you waiting for? Come on over and join the party. And like I said before about Stockmo Academy, those courses are legit. They are top notch. The bundle with code word doctor is the best value that you're going to find. Thank you guys for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.